So have you ever truly wanted change? Like you prayed for it, you planned for it, you hoped for it, and still felt the resistance the moment you tried to move forward? That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means that part of you is trying to stay safe. So today, we're going to talk about why change feels hard and how to move through that resistance with understanding instead of frustration. Why change feels so hard even when you really, really want something. So think about change in your life. Like how many people throw it in the chat? Like who loves change? I don't like change when it's like hard things, like life-changing things, life-altering things I don't love. Like I love changing furniture around the house. I love changing outfits. I love like thinking about like how it's impacting your life, how much effort goes into it. So as we're going to be talking today, I really want to encourage you guys to kind of start thinking, how does this relate to you? You know, how does this inspire you today? So the first thing we're going to do is start with a little quiz. All right. I always love like, where are you? Location, location, location. Okay. So recognize where you are when I go through these questions, and I want you to notice what feels familiar to you. Okay. So do you find yourself wanting change, but you keep hesitating? You know what to do, but you avoid starting. You feel frustrated with yourself for not following through. You feel stuck between wanting change or wanting comfort, and you second guess yourself once you begin. Okay, so as we're laying the foundation right now, just always remember awareness is going to be the first step that's going to help you to move forward. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is change is not just a decision. Okay, and sometimes we think that, like, we feel like that's enough, just saying that, okay, yeah, I want to change. Okay, and one of the biggest misunderstandings that we have about change is thinking that wanting it should be enough. Okay, and I want you guys to think about that. And we talked last week a lot, or probably the last couple of weeks, talking just about having more structure instead of emotion when we're moving forward with this, because it's very easy for us to beat ourselves up over the past. And sometimes we get really nervous about change because we're so forecasting into the future. So today, like, we're just going to be fully present together in the moment. And this is where we can think more clearly instead of stopping ourselves of what could possibly happen in our future. Now, I want to think about this as science. Okay, change is a nervous system experience. Okay, so our brains are wired for safety. All right, so familiar patterns, even uncomfortable patterns, feel predictable. So let's think about some uncomfortable patterns in your life. Let's just think about weight loss, for instance. Okay, have you ever had experience in the past where you've maybe lost weight and then gained it back again over and over and over again? Okay, think about that. How many years? I love asking my clients this question when it comes to weight loss, because we don't sometimes think about how comfortable we've been in this space. How many years have you, I don't love saying the word struggle, but I'm going to use it right now. How many years have you struggled with losing weight? Throw it in the chat. How many years has that been for you? And some of us, it's been like the majority of our life. Some of it's childhood. Some of it's been maybe like after having a child or something. Think about how long your brains have been wired to think and to believe weight loss is hard. Keeping weight off is a struggle. Okay. So even though those patterns are uncomfortable, they're predictable to our brains because we are wired into that. Okay. And believe it or not, that predictability feels safe. Okay, let's go a step further. So when we introduce change, even good change is getting healthier, losing weight, whatever your goal is, apply it towards that. Okay? So when we introduce change, even the good change, the nervous system often responds with hesitation. And sometimes we hear it's self-sabotage. You know what? It's protecting ourselves. It's different. It's foreign. I'm uncomfortable with this world maybe that I don't know. Okay. And this is why resistance can show up even when you really, really, really desire something. Does this make sense, you guys? It's when we think about it from this perspective, it's like, oh, it's all I know. And being healthy with weight loss, feeling good in clothes, that's foreign. I don't feel comfortable with that. I've never felt that. So let's really understand, when we can understand this, you guys, this awareness piece, this is what's going to catapult our growth and breakthrough this area. Okay, so the brain prioritizes certainty over improvement. Change introduces uncertainty. Does that make sense to you guys? So we're going to ask questions to ourselves of, what if it doesn't work, right? Based on our past experience. Well, is it going to work this time? What's going to make this time any different? What if I fail again? Do I want to put myself through that pain? What if this is harder than I expect it to be? Can I keep it off? How many of these questions come up? One thing I love about coaching and being in this community is that the more you talk to people, the more you realize, I'm not the only one that feels this way. I thought that was just me, right? And it's so common, these conversations. So when the brain senses the uncertainty, it activates a stress response. Okay, this is where the resistance is showing up for us. And the resistance doesn't mean you don't want the change. Resistance just means that your system doesn't feel fully safe in changing yet. All right, so let's talk about how it shows up. Well, it's going to show up in procrastination. Anybody do that? I'll put it off. I'll start Monday. I'll start next month. I got to make sure my whole house is clean and I've got my whole stock, my whole pantry and my refrigerator stocked with everything I need before I could even think about changing, right? Overthinking it, self-doubt, losing momentum after starting. These are signals, you guys. They're not failures. It's very, very important for us to have that growth mindset if we're going to move forward, if we're going to change. But if we stay, I love the picture here of feeling like you're locked into a jar. And you know what? That lid is so locked in so tight because we're like, this is how life is. This is how I have always been. So then change doesn't happen. We stay and we keep ourselves locked in. So this is what we want to do, is start paying attention and noticing this level of awareness. We start judging ourselves. Some of us push harder and we just get frustrated. Like, why can't I just do this? You guys can be successful in all these other areas of your life, but maybe this one piece, you just can't get it right. Okay. But understand that the pressure that you put upon yourself is only going to increase more resistance. It's not going to resolve it. And the most important thing I always say is, how do you find peace? You know, when you feel safe, you just feel peace. You feel more peace around you. But when we're anxious about something, it just creates more resistance. So what if this is the one thing, just one thing that you can focus on? How can I feel more peace about moving forward towards this goal? Okay. And that might just mean taking smaller steps. Remember last week we were talking about dopamine and how we want to break that into small little dopamine what's the word I'm looking for? We want to basically take on smaller goals so we can feel that level of dopamine that's going to keep us going, and then we take on to the next goal. This is very, very, very important. We need to break it up into smaller steps that are going to help you feel accomplished. So make a checklist if that inspires you, or just have a mental note, whatever. Everybody is so uniquely different. So like, I can't just tell you, go do this, this, and this, because that may not inspire you. So think about what it is that inspires you, helps you to celebrate every single small win. Slow down the pace. It's not going to happen overnight. Some of you that have maybe been struggling with your weight loss for 20 years, 30 years, your entire life, and we expect that it's just going to happen overnight. It's impossible. Like, truly think about that. It's not going to happen overnight. But if we take one small step and celebrate that success, then we're going to start accepting the change and trusting that it's going to be able to stay consistent and moving yourself forward. So give yourself permission to adjust and just to start. Support, like we talked about last week, is so vital. So whether it be this support community, whether you get a coach, whether you have a trusted friend or family member, somebody that can encourage you and help celebrate those wins with you, is really going to help you to move forward. Okay, the reframing. I say this all the time. Can I offer you a new perspective in the way that you're looking at this? So instead of staying, you know, we talk about Dr. Anderson in the life book is talking about below the line and above the line thinking. When we're we're below the line, we keep like, why am I resisting this? What's wrong with me? I'm feeling so like I'm such a failure. Bring yourself above the line. Start asking yourself questions that are going to move you forward, right? Like, what feels unsafe right now? How can I find peace in this moment of moving forward with this change in my life right now? What am I learning right now? How is this happening for me right now? What could help me to feel steadier and take this at a steadier pace instead of just shutting down and closing and saying, this is never going to happen for me? That question is going to shift you from criticism to self support. Okay. Does that even just feel different? Like, just as I'm asking those questions, you guys feel that shift happening for you? So, I've got some takeaways I want to leave you guys with today. So, resistance is not failure, it's just information. Okay. And again, we're looking at that from more of a structural standpoint, from a learning mindset and not a closed mindset. It's telling your system, it tells your system is asking for reassurance and not pressure. Okay. Understand that slowing down your pace is not quitting. Pausing is not giving up. Okay. Change doesn't need force, it needs understanding and patience and the right kind of support, which is going to give you that peace that you're looking for. And when you're in a peaceful state of mind, you have an open mind, you're growing, you're learning what was not working, what is working, and then what's next is what's going to help you to continue moving forward. Sometimes awareness alone is the most powerful step forward. And how you get that is when we pause and we live in the present moment so we can kind of do all the figuring out and analyzing what's going on so we can make that game plan and moving forward. And just remember, honestly, I believe the most important thing is that you don't have to fight yourself to change. And that's one of the things of frustration after frustration and discouragement that I experience with people and for myself. When I'm sitting in that space, I am not in the creative process. I am not moving forward. You just have to understand yourself, okay? So I hope this brought you value today, you guys. So be gentle with yourself as you take your next step. Real change isn't forced, it's understood and it's practiced. I want to encourage you to keep doing the work with me. Watch the next 15-minute reset on what actually helps you to stay consistent, because that's what turns change into something lasting. We'll see you there.